I think Christians should be the best friends. I think that everybody should want to be friends with a Christian if they're looking for a new friendship. Let me explain why that's the case. This may not be true in practice, but the ideal would be this, that Christians are the most loving people because we're connected with a God that pours into us infinite, unchanging, unmovable, unimaginable love. We see the demonstration of Jesus sacrificing himself for us to the point of death. That's a crazy love. Imagine if you had a friend who was willing to go to any length in order to demonstrate their love for you. Imagine if they valued you more than anything else, even their own life. You know, the Bible says that greater love has no one than they would give their life for their friend. So Christians should be the most loving people, and we want that in friendships for sure. What about loyalty? Well, Christians are called to forgive, to stay true, to be faithful. We follow a God who is incredibly loyal, incredibly faithful. I mean, look at the history of Israel and how God at every step made promises and stayed true to those promises, no matter what. He never failed. Man, if we could be more like that, isn't that something that you want in a friendship? I know I often make promises that it's difficult for me to keep, but if I'm following God's example, then that's a good friendship quality. What are some other ones? What about patience? God is patient. Patience is one of the fruits of being connected with God, fruits of the Spirit in Galatians chapter 5. Man, it's nice to have friends with patience, let me tell you, because I know myself and sometimes I'm difficult to deal with. But because I have some friends that are incredibly patient with me, I'm able to grow through difficult experiences and they're able to support me through that. Christians should be the most filled with grace, the least judgmental people. I know some of you, this might be a surprise because typically when I talk to people, they think of Christians as the most judgmental people. But really, when you think about what God has done for you, what God has done for me, the amount of forgiveness and grace that I have experienced, knowing who I am and the things that I've done, and knowing that God still loves me, still forgives me, He judges me righteous through Jesus Christ. How can I go to someone else and be pointing a finger at them and giving them short leashes and have no forgiveness for these people when I think about what God has done for me? God doesn't respond to me first in judgment, but first in grace. Christians should be honest. They should tell the truth. And we also need that in friends. We need people who aren't just going to gloss over our struggles, aren't going to gloss over our mistakes, but are willing to call us out and to point out, hey, this wasn't right. Let's go in a better direction. And then be there to keep us accountable, to walk us through it. The Bible actually tells us as Christians to communicate with one another in love. Tell the truth in love to one another. Christians should be the most humble, the most willing to learn, knowing that there is an amazing and incredible God in the universe that is beyond even our comprehension, and that He Himself bent down in Jesus Christ, we see this example, and washed feet of human beings. With that as an example, how can we not be the most humble people? I know this is idealistic. It's not always true in practice. But we as Christians, and for those of you who are watching who are not Christians, you should want a Christian friend. And as Christians, we should want to be the best friends that we could possibly be. We want to be the best human beings that we could possibly be. We're looking at Jesus Christ, our example. And when we do that, when we connect with Him, we receive love and grace and peace and joy and long-suffering, patience, gentleness, kindness, self-control. All of these things are imperative for good friendships. Christians should be the best friends.